Come on in.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Chris McBride.
Beth Doherty. Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you. Mind if I have a seat?
Go ahead.
All right. So how are you doing today?
Pretty good.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. How was the weekend?
It was pretty nice. The weather was nice, so we were able to get outside for a little bit.
I definitely understand. It was actually Ball State's homecoming this weekend, so a lot of my old fraternity brothers who we graduated together got back.
Nice.
It was good seeing them after a few years, so it was fun.
It's been a while since I've attended one of those.
All right, what college did you go to?
Ball State.
Oh, you're a Ball State grad too?
Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
go Cardinals, go Cardinals.
Yeah, exactly.
What was your major?
Telecommunications.
Telecommunications.
Yes.
Okay. So what is some of your best memories from being at Ball State?
Oh boy. Well, I was part of the water ski team, so a lot of it revolved around the sports activities that we did with the water ski team.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
is that something y'all just did at Ball State, or was that something that y'all went around to other schools and maybe competed, just did other activities?
It's actually a competitive sport, yes. So we competed against IU and Purdue and Ohio State and all kinds of different colleges. Yeah.
Y'all came away with a lot of victories, or?
No.
I definitely understand. So just tell me a little bit about your company and how you actually got to the position that you're in now.
Well, we are a construction firm, and we go out and do building projects typically on a business-to-business scale. And I've been in this role. I've had a background in marketing and sales and travel management, so they kind of put this hat on me. So I wear quite a few different hats, but one of them is trying to manage our travel budget and trying to set precedences on what we're going to do in that role.
Okay, so how long have you been having the responsibility to have travel or work out the traveling for your company?
Only for about 6 months, so this
6
is
months?
still a new thing. We're still trying to get things figured out because there really was no rhyme or reason or how it was set up. Everyone just kind of did their own thing.
Okay, well, so you said everybody did their own thing. That's how y'all typically operate?
It was. A couple years ago, we signed on with one of your competitors. We're not receiving the best customer service, and I think the price may be just a little bit too high, so we wanted to definitely talk with some other vendors to figure out if there's some better options out there for us.
I definitely understand, and I'm glad that you actually set this meeting up with us and gave us the opportunity to kind of satisfy those needs a little bit better. You said that you're with one of our competitors. Which one was those?
With Hertz.
With Hertz? Okay, You said that the customer service is not bad. Well,
It's not been great. We've had some people coming back from their trips and having some complaints on car availability, issues at some of the locations, waiting in line, that kind of thing. So, when you take what we spend on rental cars and you look at the things that are happening, there's got to be just a better way out there for it.
I definitely understand. All right, well, if you won't mind, I'm just going to ask you just a few questions, if that's okay.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, well, as far as you said, your company is a construction company, and are you the decision maker? Are you?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
That's definitely good. I just wanted to make sure that maybe somebody else needed to be in the room, but I'm glad that you are actually the decision maker.
Perfect.
All right, so how many people are authorized to travel usually?
Well, those that are flying out to each of our clients, there's probably about 25 to 30. We have some people on our executive team that travel as well, but
Okay.
the primary, there's probably about 25 that are pretty consistent with travel.
All right, and on average, what distances do they usually go? What's the main cities that you usually hit?
We have clients in Atlanta, Chicago,
Okay.
Cleveland, St. Louis. And there's a few others sprinkled here and there, down in Texas, out in California. But, primarily the cities we're hitting the most are those top ones that I mentioned.
All right, now what's your current travel policy? As far as how do you actually book the vehicle, figure out the size of the car you want?
That's a piece that we're trying to figure out at this point. We have that agreement with Hertz, but we're letting everybody just kind of book their own rentals, and we're finding that some people are booking themselves for, a nicer car or a big SUV.
Okay.
So we're trying to come up with a policy that we're going to use and put some processes in place. I'm not quite sure yet what we're going to do, whether we're going to utilize a travel agency to help us with that, or whether we're going to do something internal, but we're working on trying to come up with that. My wish would be, if they're traveling by themselves, they just get, a 4-door sedan, something that will fit them, that's going to give them the comforts of driving a vehicle. And if they're traveling with more, then maybe a larger car or a minivan or maybe an SUV if the weather is so inclined that they need to have like a 4-wheel drive. So,
Okay.
so we're working on that process, but we're getting there.
Okay, that's definitely understandable. What is the typical duration of each trip?
Um, well, our project managers are typically going out to do site visits, so they're only going to be in town for a day or two. But those that are going in to do any kind of engineering or background or extensive work on the site, they're typically there for 4 to 5 days.
Okay.
So it kind of changes based on whomever is flying out. The executives, it's normally a pop in and a pop out. They're just going from location to location.
All right. Well, as far as that, when. All right. So as far as the mileage on each trip, how many miles would you say? You said about 4 or 5 days is the duration.
Mm-hmm.
How many miles do they have driving for that whole 4 or 5 days?
Well, if they're flying into an airport location, we try to get them as close to the site as possible, so they're not putting very many miles on that. But typically, if they're going to be within like a 4-hour drive time, we'll have them drive a vehicle out there. So that's typically going to be, what is that going to be, 200-ish miles? So like our St. Louis clients, we're driving there because it makes more sense from here to drive there than to try to book a flight.
Mm-hmm.
It actually becomes a little more costly to do that. So.
All right, and with that, you're saying you have certain people drive. Do you reimburse their mileage, or how do you actually set that up?
We do. Most of the time we are doing mileage reimbursement. They drive their own vehicle. That way they don't have to hassle with trying to get a vehicle from a car rental vendor. It's just something that we've always done.
Oh, that makes sense, though. Now, with that, do you pay the typical IRS rate of 55.5 cents per mile?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
And how is that working out for you so far?
I really haven't monitored that part of our program. If they need to go visit a client, they need to go visit a client. So I haven't really looked at what we're spending on that. That's not part of our travel budget.
Okay. All right. So how would you like about Emerald Club that we actually have? And with that, I know you said that you didn't like waiting in lines.
Mm-hmm.
The customer service was a little bit bad. With the Emerald Club, you wouldn't have to wait in line when you come to a location.
Right.
You really wouldn't have to talk to anybody. You come in, you go straight to the parking lot, you choose the car you want, we get you the keys, and then that's really about it. How does that sound?
It sounds good. We do have some people that are on the Hertz, President's Club, so they get to, kind of do the same thing. And they get
it, but when we are doing something like this, we can arrange where you're just automatically a part of the Emerald Club.
Okay.
So once we sign up, then there's no more waiting in lines. There's no more inconveniences. There's no more anything like that. If you're in a rush or if you just want to be straight about business, you come, pick your car up, and then we will just handle that from there.
And they pick whatever car they want?
Yes, they do.
Oh, that might work. Yeah, because I get a couple of complaints on the Hertz front because they're told, go to parking lot 10, and if, like Jim, he hates red cars, and he goes to parking lot 10 and it's a red car, he's not very happy because he thinks that you get pulled over more often with a red vehicle. So if he gets to pick his own car and not get a red one, he'd probably like that feature.
I definitely understand. And another plus to this is that you said that if you have them go under 4 hours, then you will have them drive themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the benefit about having a rental car is that when you actually do the mileage reimbursement, you will realize that it's best to only have them drive their car if they're going under 100 miles for that day. So instead of just 4 hours, you should look at it in the miles. And that's where we will come along and be able to save you a lump sum of money doing this transaction.
So you're saying if they are traveling less than 100 miles, the mileage reimbursement's okay, but if more, then they should be renting a vehicle?
Yes. Just to save
How
you
much
money.
does it cost to rent a vehicle per day?
It's around $50.
Okay. If they're going over, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Because if we're going 100 miles, that's $55 already.
And then incorporated in our costs, we incorporate the mileage, we incorporate the gas reimbursement, different things like that that's already incorporated.
Okay.
And it's still a lot cheaper than you would pay if you had to reimburse them out of their pocket for driving their own cars.
Right. And then we don't have Bill who drives his beat up pickup truck.
And all the cars that we select
my
at
God.
Enterprise are gas efficient, so you won't have to worry about just getting 10 miles to the gallon or something like that. We all make sure that we have at least 34 miles to the gallon.
Now, I mean, does it matter what location they pick up the vehicle from?
No.
Okay. Because I have some people that live, here on this side of town. I have some that live on the other side of town.
Well, one of the good things about Enterprise is that we have so many different locations that typically we're within 15 miles of wherever location you're at.
Oh,
Unless you're in like North Dakota or Wyoming or something like that. But
That's
for the
fair.
most part, in the major cities, we're usually within 15 miles of wherever you're at.
Perfect. That sounds pretty interesting. It makes it a little more convenient.
So how about this? How about I actually work some numbers for you, bring back a proposal, and then I schedule a meeting maybe next week and we can finalize this deal?
Sounds good. Sounds good. I am in the office next week.
That sounds good. All right, well, I'm going to leave you this little price sheet right here that lets
Okay.
you know a little bit about it. I'm going to type up a more personalized one for you that lets you know exactly what your expenses will be and also how much we will actually save you doing this. And then I'll drop that off next week when we have that meeting.
Perfect.
All right, well, it was a pleasure talking to you.
You as
You
well.
have a great day.
Thank you.
See you.